7th grade. You guys had a sub today, so you know the drill. You're going to complete the warm-up, do the best you can, and then hit play on the video. Correct any blunders while you watch the correct steps, and we'll fill out the notes just like a normal class. Press pause if you have not completed the warm-up, and work for 3 minutes. Go. Okay, so here's the correct steps for 1 and 2. It gets a little tricky because you have a fraction thrown in there for x. And you'll notice for number 1, I made every number into a kind of fraction looking number because it's easier for me to multiply a 4 over 1 by a 1 over 2. 4 is the same thing as 4 over 1. So you can legally make any whole number into a fraction by putting a 1 under it. That actually is legal. It's okay. They're the same number. One just looks like a fraction, so it's easier to multiply. Number 3, if you haven't done it, make sure you have board of paper for this one. Dr. Dodge takes 18 3/8 minutes to eat her lunch. Gene Luke takes 10 3/8 minutes to eat his burger, and then another 2.5 to eat his fries. How much longer? Keyword. Does it take Dr. Dodge to eat her lunch? So you have two things going on. We have this combination. Gene Luke has 2 things that he's eating. So we need to combine those because I need the total that Gene Luke takes to eat. I can't add an 8 with a 2 denominator, so we need to make 1/2 into a denominator of 8. 4/8 works for adding to 3/8. You get 7/8 and then a 12. So now that we have Gene Luke, that's great. But we want to know how much longer Dodge took to eat her lunch. So how much longer? I'm thinking in my head, I think it's a subtraction problem. How much more time did Dr. Dodge take to eat? Set it up stacked so we can see the kids who are fighting, the adults who are fighting, and the fractions go first. Well, 3/8 can't fight with a 7/8. So we'll borrow from this 18 and make a bigger fraction so that it can subtract. 11 minus 7 is 4. 17 minus 12 is 5. Simplify 5 and 4/8 to 5.5. And you got your answer. After you complete the notes and the bronze work from today's lesson, you will be turning this in to the in-bin of your period level. So make sure you are making thorough notes. You should need a reminder for that by this point in the trimester. And do your best on bronze to get full credit, 10 out of 10 for today. Students will be able to simplify expressions. There's that word again. By combining like terms. So here's a funny problem. I just want you to think about what's going on, and then we'll talk about what it means in the world of math. Below are groups of pineapples and apples, and representing each of them, you can actually put a P for pineapple, and representing the apple, you can actually put an A for apple. So go ahead and label it. I want you to write 2 expressions that you can use to determine the total number of pineapples and apples. I'm looking at this thing, and I think if I add up every pineapple, well, there's 3, and then every apple, there's 6. This expression, even though it's ginormous, is exactly what's happening in the picture. Now we could simplify it and make another expression that's equivalent. there's 3 pineapples and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 apples. That's the same thing. Now, everything in me wants to combine the 3 and the 6. I don't want to leave that answer looking like that. It looks so uncomfortable. It looks like it's not an answer, but you're about to enter into the realm of algebra. And sometimes the simplest algebra expressions look a little bit incomplete. In this case, this is my answer. You cannot combine the 3 with the 6 because they are not like terms. That leads us into some vocab words we need to cover. An expression is what we did yesterday a lot of. It's a statement that has numbers and symbols, no equal sign though. A term is a part of the expression separated by addition or subtraction. In this case, there are 2 terms for expression number 2. Here's the term, label it. And there is a term. Why couldn't I have, let's make a blue, combined those 2 terms? I want to make a 9AP type of thing. Well, you can't combine things that aren't like terms. And since the variable is different, this is not a like term. Just like you kind of can't squish together pineapples and apples, and at this point I have 10 hands say, hey, I love pineapple apple juice. It's my favorite. No, you don't. No one eats pineapple apple juice. You can't combine terms that aren't the same. P and A are different terms. Second vocab or third vocab word is a constant. A constant is a term that only has numbers. And a variable is a term that has letters in it. So let's combine like terms to create an equivalent expression. I'm looking at example 1, and I want to hunt for the things that are the same. Well, these are constants. They're numbers. They're not the same number, and that's okay, but they are the same term. They're just a number. So I can combine it. 5 and 3 are positive 8. This variable is by itself. You don't combine it with anything. Write 9t. And if you want to, you can make the t like capital or kind of cursive. It looks a little weird being a plus sign. When you are making equivalent expressions, you can actually write this with either one written first. As long as the sign's the same, it can be 8 plus 9t or 9t plus 8. Example 2. Circle your variables. 10 and 8k make an 18k. Box or underline your constants. 1 and 2 make a 3. That's as simple as you can make it. 3 is a constant. It's a different term than k. You can't combine this variable k with that constant 3. Example 3. Rewrite this one, negative k plus 3k. When you have a variable and it doesn't have a number, sometimes it's helpful to put a 1. A negative k is the same thing as negative 1k. Anytime you just have a letter, it's really 1 and then that letter. So there's no constants in here, but these are like terms. K and k can combine. 3k minus 1k, good guy versus bad guy, would be get 2. Okay, one more example. Negative k plus 8k. Make sure you simplify the not sign to make a giant plus sign. And I'm going to rewrite that. Negative 1k is the same thing as negative k. A bad guy 1 fights a good guy 8 and leaves me with 7 good guys. All right, take 3 minutes to simplify these next 2 problems. Press play when you're ready. Check your work before moving on. Make sure it looks exactly like mine, maybe a little bit neater. You should have your like terms circled or underlined. 4Q and 8Q, notice how I circled the sign that went with it. 8Q and the negative 4Q battle, and the positive 8Q wins. It makes a 4. 10 just gets brought over. Make sure you have these signs rewritten. I need one sign in between. The plus minus 9 turns into a minus 9. The minus minus 6 turned into a plus 6. If you have those answers and the work, next page please. You have a bunch of practice problems, a ton of them, because this is a foundational skill. You may have done it in 6th grade. You may have done it in 5th grade. Probably not, but maybe 6th. You're going to go through all the problems. When you get to gold, 25 is a little tricky, but you could probably figure it out. 26 is like platinum. This is a 8th grade skill that is pretty tricky. You can attempt it if you want to, and talk with your partner if you don't quite get it and are already on gold. Alright guys, that's the way the cookie crumbles. The rest of this time is partner work or independent work, whatever Miss Todd Hunter or the sub decides. Have fun.